Well, hello. How are
Ah,
you?
hello. Good morning.
Good
Good afternoon or
morning
good evening.
or good
Uh,
evening. Yeah.
yeah, whatever time of day it
Wherever you are
is.
in the world, it
It's
is
right
a
where
time of day.
it's a time of day. Yeah, I don't get to hear the music. There's something going on with uh this the video plays. You heard the music because I could see you dancing.
Yes, I
But
heard the music.
I don't know what is going on with my technology, but I can watch YouTube videos. The sound works just fine. But when I'm in Restream, can't the music doesn't come through. And I have tried different things like taking off the echo cancellation and I've done what I can. I have no idea. I have no idea.
All
But you
right.
can hear me,
I
and
can
I
hear
can
you.
hear
Yeah.
you.
And you can
So
hear
that's
me?
all that matters. I can hear you.
Well, that's good. We can hear
Yeah,
each other.
we can hear each other. Hello, everybody. Can you hear
Hello,
us?
everybody.
Welcome to the Rant, a radically affirmative new thought, where Dr. Jonathan Zenz and myself, Saint Steph, we come together for this absolutely delicious time of conscious conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that it's delicious. Like
Mm-hmm.
like that's such a descriptive word that like
Yes.
resonates with me.
Yum,
It's
yum, yum.
delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A great conversation is better than any dessert I've ever had.
Because I'm so thoroughly nourished by
Mhm.
great conversation and by adopting. I am nourished by my spiritual practice. That's really what it boils down to.
Absolutely.
This
Yeah.
is part of my
Yeah.
spiritual practice now.
Yeah. Because I've eaten a dessert and been like, tasty. But I've had a conversation and left and created an empire, like they're
Right.
like energetically like amazing conversations. It's where it's at. It's where it's at.
Do you know what the thing is too? Like, this does not leave me feeling a little sick to my stomach. And I say
Stop
that
eating
because
gluten.
I say that because Dane and I, my husband and I, went to dinner the other night with a friend, and we went to a Cuban restaurant, really good.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and we all noted that, like, oh, the dessert menu looks really good. So we each, rather than share one, which is what we usually do with dessert, my husband and I, but we each ordered our own slice
Mhm.
of guava cheesecake. And it was so delicious and yet so rich that I finished. I enjoyed it while I was in the experience of it, but I finished and I felt ill because it
Yeah.
was like too much. And I thought,
Too
yeah,
much of a good thing.
can make, well, I wouldn't say that guava cheesecake is necessarily a good thing in the grand scheme of nutrition.
Right.
So too much of a bad thing is going to make you feel maybe
Yeah.
not so good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're having a conscious dessert right here and right now. It's super good for you. It's filled with radically affirmative new thoughts.
Yep.
And so if you are watching right now, let us know you're watching. Click those loves, those likes, do us a solid and hit that share button. And for sure, engage us in the chat. We want to
Yeah.
know what you would like a radically affirmative new thought about
Yeah.
and all of that good stuff. We want to know your thoughts too. So please engage with us. Know that any engagement you do does help this algorithm, and our purpose. I know one of my purposes is to use our algorithm and that energy that is the ether to do good in the world.
Yeah.
So let's transform our lives by having delicious, rich, meaningful, and nourishing conversations. Fill up our chat.
Yeah. I just went through to make sure I shared on, you know, at
Oh
least
yeah,
on the Book of Faces.
the book of faces. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So have what I know you're teaching some classes and things.
I am.
In the last week, have you gotten a golden nugget from a student that you're like, "Oh, that was so good. I'm, thinking about it." Any golden
Right.
nuggets
Well,
you've
you put me on the
received?
spot, and I have to think back. Like, yes, many, because that's what happens in class. I always, one of the things that I always say is that I learn as the and I try not to call myself the teacher of the class. I'm the facilitator of the class because I am as much a student as, the students in the class. But I
Yeah.
facilitate it. Let me see what has come up recently. Well, last night in the class, I'm teaching the 12 powers. And if you are not familiar with the 12 powers, it's a dominant thing in the unity side of New Thought. And essentially the 12 powers are faculties. How this is how I'll describe it. They are divine faculties that are,
Hmm.
that Charles Fillmore attributed to the infinite spirit that we call God. And so they're part of the infinite source of creation. And because they are divine faculties in the infinite, they are faculties within each and every one of us. They're powers that we can use in our lives. And so he distilled them down to these 12. And I'm of the mind that, well, these aren't the only 12, but these are the 12 that we focus on in unity. But these are the 12 powers, according to Charles Fillmore: faith, understanding, will, imagination, zeal, my favorite, power, love, wisdom, strength, order, release, and life. And so those are the 12 powers, according to Charles Fillmore. So I'm teaching a class on those. We had class last night and we covered power, love, and wisdom
Mm.
in class. Now, a side note. Yeah, a little side note about the power of wisdom. So if you read Charles Fillmore's work, he actually refers to that power as judgment, but judgment has such a negative connotation in our contemporary language that we
Hmm.
really refocused it and said it's wisdom or discernment, that is a power,
Right.
right? As opposed to judgment, which seems to judge things as good or bad. And oftentimes, if I'm in a state of judgment, I am thinking about the negative aspects of some circumstance. So we've stepped away from that. But each of the powers, because there are 12, and Charles Fillmore's point of focus and point of view was from a Christian point of view. He then also associated each of those powers or the faculties with one of the apostles of Jesus.
Right.
So the apostle that is associated with wisdom is James, son of Zebedee. James is the brother of John. James was also the first apostle that was martyred. He was assassinated by King Herod Agrippa. Okay, so he was the first martyr. James also is the reason that the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage exists, because the pilgrimage is intended to find its conclusion at the cathedral in Santiago de Compostela, which is where the interred remains of James the Apostle are. And in fact,
Um,
Santiago means Saint James.
hmm.
So, anyway, that's how I've wrapped up into this conversation the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage, which I
Yeah.
walked a couple of years ago.
Yeah. You have a 100% success rate of mentioning the walk for sure.
Yeah, I do.
That's
Well, it's a
awesome.
significant part of my life now,
Yeah,
It was a
absolutely.
fundamentally transformational part of my life. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying
I didn't
everybody
know
has
that.
to
I didn't know
do.
that about that. It was James.
Yeah, St. James. St.
St.
James the
James.
Greater.
Yeah.
Because there are two apostles named James, and there's
Right.
James the Greater and James the Lesser. This is St. James the Greater, the son of Zebedee.
Yeah. Talk about judgment, though.
Mm,
The-
tell me about
James
it.
the Greater, James the Lesser.
Well, yes.
In today's terms, was it like James the Tall and James the Short, or
Maybe, I don't know.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I think part of the lesson of the Camino for me is I know I repeat myself a lot about this, but find your own way, find your own Camino, find your own pilgrimage. Are you walking
Yeah.
through this thing called life as a pilgrim that is open to the spiritual lessons that are all around?
Yes.
And, that I think that was one of the great joys of being on the Camino. And I learned many lessons, and the lessons I'm still learning. But it's a metaphor for the walk of life. I walked for 34 walking days, 36 days in totals, but 34 days of actual walking. And there is great depth that can be experienced in that kind of activity. So anyway. So anyway, power, wisdom, and love were the powers we talked about last night. And here's my question to you.
Oh, good.
I'm going to go back to power. The power of power. It's funny because it's
power of power.
oh,
that makes me laugh every time
power.
Because the power of power doesn't make sense to me.
Right, because what we're talking about actually is spiritual authority, adopting an understanding of our own spiritual authority. Because when we're talking about power, we're not talking about force, which sometimes those ideas get conflated, right? So we're not talking about trying to manipulate or force. We're talking about standing firm in our spiritual authority, that is a point of view of expressing our faculty of power. We are inherently the expression of a creative power. And so how will you utilize that in your life? That's my question to you, Steph. How are you going to utilize the power of spiritual authority?
I use it every day.
Tell me about that.
Well, the first thing that popped up when you were talking was the song, I've got the power, right? I've got the power. And so when, that's a great song and it gets you moving for sure. Discovering that power that is the I've got that, I am that. It's life changing when you discover that you are the spiritual authority in your life and you have the power to direct or shift or change or evolve or stay the same. You have that in you. You are that. So my spiritual authority is directed and guided and moved through me, through my activity, through the choices I make, right? But for sure, when I think about that inner power, I'm thinking about spiritual practice. I'm thinking about spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer, talking nicely to ourselves. That's where the power is formed into physicality, because I'm using an infinite source power to create through me, as me, with me, and for me, because there's nothing else. So the more I know about myself, the more engaged I am with my spiritual path. And that's spiritual, like for me, it's faith, power and faith, the same thing. You have to have faith in that power that is within you. So faith is an incredibly important ingredient to this delicious dessert of life that we get to create.
Right.
And so faith, to have that spiritual authority and power within me. And the more I trust myself, the more that I come to awareness of life around me and within me, the more in tune I am with that spiritual authority. And like you always used to say on a mindful moment, life just gets better.
It does.
It just gets better. I promise you that if you engage in spiritual practice, if you see within you that reflection of your spiritual authority, that divine inside of you, that power,
right,
life gets better. I swear to God.
Yeah. And it takes a practice of developing self-mastery. When I talk about self-mastery, I'm talking like self-mastery from the point of view of what I will refer to as the capital S self, recognizing that the wholeness of us, and not just the physicality, but the energetic wholeness of us, the conscious wholeness of us, it's all part of the infinite wholeness, because we can't be separate from it. And that's really where our power is grounded, is in the understanding of that wholeness. One of the things, so the book that we're utilizing for the 12 Powers class is a book called, and I know you know this book, Divine Audacity. by Linda
Mhm.
Martello. And it basically it goes through each of the powers. And I love that she does this. She actually doesn't refer to them as powers. She actually refers to them as light, right? So it's the light
Yes,
of power.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah. And when she's talking about the light of power, she actually leads off that chapter by talking about concentration. And
Mm.
at first I was like, what? Like concentration is the light of power? And then I figured it out. I got it. It was like, oh, what am I concentrating my awareness on? I'm concentrating my awareness on God is all there is.
Yeah.
That's the concentration. And from that concentrated focus, I am empowered because it is an acknowledgement that there can be nothing separate from. And so that is part of who I am. In fact, the wholeness of who I am is that. So
Mhm.
that is then taking the step into self-mastery with a capital S by saying it's the capital S because it is me acknowledging my divinity.
Yeah.
And not in a way that becomes hierarchical. I'm not saying I'm divine and so you are less than, not at all.
Mm-mm.
In fact, what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying is that an acceptance of the divine identity of all creation is the great equalizer. And
Yeah.
so it's not meant to put anyone on a pedestal or diminish anyone. It is meant to say, I know who I am. I know who you are. And that's kind of the meaning of namaste. I recognize the infinite divinity in you as a reflection of an infinite divinity in me. And from that point of view, we are one unified wholeness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I want to throw it out also to those of you who are out there watching, like what comes up for you in this conversation?
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw some stuff into the chat because we love to respond to what you put into the chat function. Because
Absolutely.
Steph and I can sit and talk about this all day. But what do you
All
want?
day.
What comes up for you?
Yeah. What comes up for you? Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can chat about this all day.
Right?
And forever. This book is why I love the word audacity. Like that
Right?
audacity showed up in my life through this book. And, it's just like to be divine audacity, to know who you are in such a way that you have discovered your divine self.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you see it as a reflection of who you are, because what we see we see as and with and from, right?
Right?
So to see everyone else as divine, you have to see yourself as divine.
Yeah.
And I think about, so this is the remake of Charles Fillmore's 12 Powers.
Right.
But
In
I think about
contemporary language. That's
his
one thing I love.
audacity.
The contemporary language really helps distill into something that's actually useful.
Yeah.
Beyond just being intellectual, it becomes really useful.
Absolutely.
While you're continuing, I'm just going to check because I want to see if we're not seeing chat. Usually we see chat function
Oh
by
yeah.
now, and so I'm just going to check online real quick to see if anybody's put chat in that's not coming through in our streaming system.
Yeah. It was working this morning, but yeah, I have noticed there's chats aren't coming through from certain places. I don't know.
Yeah.
So if
Well,
you are watching, chat us
yeah.
up.
So no chat on my channel. So there we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just like prayer, talking nicely to ourselves. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Charles Fillmore, Ernest Holmes, Emma Curtis Hopkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
These people had audacity to question the religious upbringings, to say, hey, this isn't what I believe about God. This is like what I believe about the God, what I believe my understanding of God is, the divine within me.
Mm-hmm.
They spoke it in a time when they spoke this truth with such bold audacity in a time when they could have been imprisoned or worse.
Radically divergent ideas from what was commonly accepted.
Exactly.
They
So thank God for audacious people.
and I love the word that is used often to describe them. They were rebels, right? I mean,
Rebels, yeah.
as I've often said, there's a book that was written. There it is, Spirits in Rebellion: The History, the Rise and Development of New Thought. Yeah,
Because I'm a rebel. I'm a spiritual rebel. Absolutely. Like my whole platform is radical. Let Jesus was a radical.
Right? Well, what's the title of this video that we put out?
Exactly.
Radically
Radically
affirmative new thought.
affirmative new
Like,
thought.
let
Yeah.
us acknowledge the radical nature of this
Yeah.
philosophy. And hi, Sherry. Just wanted to acknowledge, and I put the comment up earlier. Grateful to see you as always.
Yay,
Yeah.
it's working. It's
Hmm?
working. It's working. Hey, if my mom's watching, shout out to my dad. Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
sent him an e-card with Kevin Bacon playing him a guitar song. It's fun.
Mm,
The things we can
nice.
do now.
Beautiful.
So, yes, be bold and audacious. The world needs you to be who you are called to be. The world needs you to be the bright, shiny expression that is already implanted within you.
Yeah.
And then it's because we need that flow of energy to be you. We need to stop stifling our own creativity. We need to stop stifling our. The biggest waste of time we can have. This is just off my top of my head, so it's not researched about actual time wasting. Second guessing yourself. How you make a decision, for the first thing that comes to you is like, oh my God, that's great. And then you start to second guess yourself. Was that the right decision? Who am I to make that decision? Right? So much time. And then 3 weeks later, you have to make that decision finalized and you go back to the first thing you chose.
Hmm.
All that time we waste in consciousness, in mind,
Yeah.
putting our own barriers, putting our own blockages, putting our own crud in our path because we don't have faith in ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we don't trust our first response, which is our gut response, which is God's response.
We're really the only ones who ever get in our way, truly.
Yeah.
When we can perceive other people as getting in our way, but ultimately it's our relationship to that relationship that is holding us back. So we are still in that paradigm. We are still the ones who are getting in our own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a quote
Oh.
that keeps coming to mind from Emerson's essay on self-reliance, where he said, he wrote this: "Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string." And what I
Mm.
love about that is it's a call to rely on your authentic self, to be yourself authentically. Now, I think that the truth of our authenticity is that if we are being true to our authenticity, we are truly grounded in love, kindness, and respect.
Mm.
And so when we are grounded and trusting ourselves as love, kindness, and respect, every heart around us vibrates at that energetic level. And
Yeah.
we end up experiencing love, kindness, and respect from
Yes.
in that.
Yeah.
Um, so, it's a call to each and every one of us to consider, how are we being in the world? How are we being in our lives? And what do we let dominate our thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I let the perception of discord dominate my thoughts, and I'll tell you, that's real easy right now, especially in what I'm experiencing in the United States. Like, real easy to let the thoughts of discord become dominant. Well, then that becomes the flow of my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And what am I willing to what am I willing to do about that? Because I'm the one in
Yeah.
charge of my experience of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love being in it. Like I guess it's a little bit of a hard thing, but what are you willing to sacrifice from your own old way of being to make room for your new way of being that you are saying you want, right? You say you want this, but then your actions and your activities and your thoughts don't reflect that thing. You're
Mhm.
not going to have that thing. Michael Beckwith just did a little real video of guided meditation into finding your abundance and prosperity frequency.
Mhm.
Well, because you have to be it to see it.
Yeah.
You're vibrating energetically at that thing. When you walk into a room, if you're a grumpy old so-and-so, you're going to walk into a room is like, oh gosh, here comes the grumpy old so-and-so. I'm already got my back up. I've already got the hairs on my neck going. I know you're a grumpy old so-and-so the way you enter a room.
Yeah.
When I walk in a room, let's just put it in first person. When I walk into the room, people turn and smile. How am I walking in that room? Right?
When I
How
was
am I walking into that space? That's my reaction. People aliven. And I want to be in that room. I want to be in the room where people come alive when I walk in. I want to
Mhm.
be in a room where other people aliven, because my energy has entered into their space. That's how we do all of this as a collective consciousness.
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
we are stirring into the mix is important.
When I was you know, in my previous career path of being an actor, one of the things that I would often consider, and you know, in addition to my acting life, I also, did some actor coaching, audition coaching. I worked with other actors, and one of the things I always told them is, when you walk into an audition room, your energy precedes you.
Yeah.
And so it's not about getting into the room and trying to wow the director or the casting
Right.
director or the producers with your skill. What they're looking for is this an individual that I can be with, that I can actually spend time with? And so you walk into the room, they will have already made a decision before you've ever opened your mouth
Mm.
when you walk into that room. And we subconsciously do that in our everyday lives. We make snap decisions about the experience we're going to have with someone when they walk into our presence.
Yeah.
We don't even realize we're doing it, but it is something that we do. And so it's a call. This is the call. Who will I be energetically walking into that room in any given situation?
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what you're
What
talking
a great prep tip for any young actors watching us, or old actors, anyone who's interested in acting. What a great tip. So to prepare, like, you want this role, walk in aware that it's already yours. Walk in with that like you are that role. How would that character walk into this space? Like, what a great tip for anyone going into an audition or an interview for
about. Mhm.
a job, or like, just be who you like, be that. If
Yeah.
you really want that job, be that interview already nailed before you enter, right? Like, attitude is everything.
Yeah.
You can't
Martha,
create
great to see you,
something.
Martha. But
Yeah.
you
Hi.
can't create something new in the frequency that created the problem, or whatever the adage is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is exactly right. You cannot create anything new from the consciousness or the frequency of the old.
Yeah.
As long as we maintain old ideas, we're going to continue to create from those old ideas. That's why I
Yeah.
love New Thought, because it's an invitation to evolve our thinking, to evolve our experience, to continue in the state of spiritual evolution.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I did not, in my chat side, I did not see Marta's
Oh,
comment that you pulled up.
interesting.
So weird. So
Something's
weird.
happening with your computer, your sound, yeah. There's
Yeah.
another
My
comment
computer
here.
is having a hard time with Restream.
Oh,
Y'all froze for me. Oh.
so we froze. So what I was saying is that, um, the casting director or the director, if as an actor, when you're walking into an audition situation, they have made a decision about you energetically as you walk in the room before you've ever opened your mouth. That's what I said. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
continue to say, we all do that, whether we're having
Just
awareness of
made me
it.
think of I've had this past week reminded of skunk medicine. Animal medicine. There's wisdom in all of our animals, and so just right in my front yard was a beautiful skunk. Just that they're beautiful animals, and they've got quite the little swagger when they're walking. But skunk medicine is all about reputation, because you can smell them coming before they're before you see them, right? And so it's that same energy, like before you're in the space. And so it's your reputation precedes you, but energetically, your reputation precedes you. There's science that has now demonstrated that our heart is aware of something 7 seconds prior to it experiencing it. And that's time. Our hearts can travel through time and let us know, right? So energetically, you're in that room 7 seconds before you're in that room. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Sherry said that the computer is being audacious. It is. It's a brand new computer. I don't know what's going on with it. It's doing weird things. So if you all could pray it well and healthy, that would be great. It is being audacious for sure. So yeah, so reputation, right? Reputation is an energy, and I have shared little tidbits of my experience over the summer with a growth opportunity for me, and it was like a fear I had about someone else ruining my reputation based on lies they were freely wanting to share with people, like absolute lies about me. And I was concerned about my reputation. And what came to me was that, like, my reputation means nothing. My character means everything. Because what reputation is what other people believe about me, and that's on them. I have no control about what other people believe about me. But my character is how I show up every day as authentic, real, and I'm highly ethical, highly rational and logical thinker. Like everything's in a box, and there are thousands of boxes because I also am a monkey mind. The monkey on a unicycle juggling hamsters, that is in there too. But my character, no one can taint my character but me. And so reputation, you can think what you want about me, doesn't affect me. Doesn't. I know who I am, and I know the truth of me, and that's freaking divine and lovely. Love who I am. So great. So great. So you can have thoughts about me. That's okay. I can't change that. But what I can change is how I respond to those things. And, Don Miguel Ruiz, just a reminder, don't take things personally. Don't take anything personally.
Yeah. Yeah. We have dominion over our relationship and reaction to things.
Yes.
That's what we have dominion over. And that goes right back to, that's how we can stand in spiritual authority. That's how we are the light of power.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a skunk's fault. It evolved so that was its, what is it? Guard. Sometimes I lose words these days. I have said that into a room full of women older than me, and they said, "Welcome to perimenopause," and I was like, "Thanks for having me."
Yeah, well, that's perhaps that statistically holds some merit, but we actually talked in class about, are we going to let ourselves give into statistics, or are we the ones that will demonstrate outside of the acceptance of statistics? That's a whole other conversation. And part of what we got to actually, and this goes into the discussion we had on wisdom as part of the class last night, was that the statistics are tools that invite us into the active participation in discernment about everything in our lives. And one of the examples I brought up was to say that, I have now, Unity of Tucson is the second community that I've been hired to step into leadership in an existing community. The first one was the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto. And when I was fresh out of ministerial studies, I had this statistic in mind, that when I step into leadership in an existing community, within a year, 20% of the existing community will have departed. And it doesn't matter if the people that departed voted for you to be the spiritual leader or not. They depart. And partially is because they hadn't truly made up their minds yet around your spiritual leadership for them. And so they at some point do make up their minds, and they will disengage. So that's the statistic. Now, did I create that reality because I believed in the statistic, or does the statistic exist because it is the tendency, or are we collectively continuing to create that reality? That becomes the challenge of understanding. And so, so what is my responsibility in that? First of all, I want people to go where they are spiritually nourished.
Yes.
I know that I'm not the minister for everyone. And so if you do not find spiritual nourishment through my ministry, please go find what works.
Absolutely.
That is an important part of how I choose to be in ministry. Find what works for you. But I also proceed with a level of discernment around my relationship to the experience. And so if 20% leave, maybe it's not even 20%. Maybe it was only 10%. Maybe it was 50%. Then somebody made a joke and said, well, actually, when you stepped into Unity of Tucson, it was 100% that didn't show up.
Yeah, because it was
we were in COVID.
100%.
And I was doing Sunday service to an empty room and just cameras, right?
So, yeah.
Joke last night.
Yeah.
But I get to live within I get to live within discernment in my life around how I will relate to the circumstances. And so I could be really upset that 20% left, or I can honor their capacity to make the choices that are right for them, bless them on their way, and trust and know that those right and perfect individuals who are attracted to the manner of ministry in which I present it show up, which is what happened and continues to happen. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's Ernest Holmes about precedence.
Principle is not bound by precedent.
Principle is not bound by precedent.
I think that's Troward, actually.
Is it Troward?
Yes, Troward, and Holmes, of course, utilizes that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that is like it. You can be a statistical anomaly because of that. Because of that principle. I mean, so it's never been done. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just hasn't been done yet.
Right.
Even if something has been done, doesn't mean you aren't also capable of doing it. Like I've had conversations where someone has set a goal, but you know what? I'm not going to do that because there's already one. Like there's already one book. There's already one book published about ghost towns in BC. So I'm not going to write something I'm super passionate about, have all this research, have been to all these places. I'm like, you haven't written the book. You have a book, write the book. It doesn't matter who's going to read the book. What's yours is to write the book. Your goal isn't for other people. It's for you to experience joy.
Could you imagine if both of us had, had the call to ministry and went, well, there's already a minister in the world, so that's not for me to do. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, Beckwith is doing a fine job. I'll just I'll
yeah.
just let him.
Well, so then that actually speaks to, you know, to what degree are we comparing ourselves with others?
Mm,
There's that
mm.
adage that says comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
And so I think the message then right now is let go of comparing yourself to others. It will get you nowhere. It will only rob you of your joy.
Yes.
I could very easily step into comparing myself with my mentoring ministry because we have a very similar approach and style, right? I think it's part of the reason that I was attracted to him as my teacher and mentor.
Mm,
And yet I have developed in my own unique way my approach. He continues to evolve in his own unique way, his approach. And while it may seem parallel in many ways, like we have our own authentic expression, even if
mhm.
there seem to be similarities. But if I let myself go into the frame of mind of, oh well, he just does that so much better than I do, and
Mm.
so why would I ever attempt to try to engage in this? Well, it's only defeating for me, and so
Right.
I rob myself of my own experience of joy by thinking of
Yeah.
myself as less than.
Yeah, you are not St. James the Lesser.
No, I am not.
No, you are not. You know,
No.
I have I've been in a place where I was highly competitive. I was in individualized sports because I couldn't play well with a team. Everybody else would let me down, and I had that mindset, and everything was a competition. Everything was a competition. My
Mhm.
relationship with my brother as a teenager, like I would put my report card on my door. Because why? He would have to pass my door to get to his room.
Mhm.
Like that was me. And I'm so blessed that I've had so many opportunities where others have been hyper competitive with me in my life to go, oh, Anna, I don't need this anymore. I don't need to compete. Like, no, you can have this. You can have the bigger piece of cake. No worries. Not my thing. And so because in oneness, you are the divine. Who are you competing with? God is not competing with itself in any way. It's fully expressed.
Mhm.
So are you have that capacity as well. You have the capacity to be fully expressed. You have no one, like we've already talked about. We are the ones who get in our own way. So there is no competition. We
Right.
we we think there is because we believe that there are finite things. Oh, like I mean, there's a competition to be the wealthiest person on the planet. Ew. For
Oh,
what?
well,
For
that
what?
that that screams to me of a consciousness of lack.
Absolutely lack and fear. Lack and fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you make me think about this idea. So in the infinite, and let's talk about the infinite versus the absolute as though they're separate things, which fundamentally they are not. The relative is the absolute. At the
Hmm.
level of the relative, Ernest Holmes reminded us in his seminar lectures. So this is my question. If competition is not an inherent part of the infinite divine power we call God, why do we have a culture that is so focused on competition? Because I think it's really the result of a cultural thing. Like we
Yeah.
are culturalized into competition. And I see that very prevalently
Well, the
in
history of
the
it
United
all. The
States
history of
culture,
it all.
right?
Yeah.
But
I
why?
don't have
Why do you think we developed that in our freedom
I'm
to be?
I don't have a Bible next to me.
Oh, what are you trying to look up?
Which is weird. Um there's competition in the Bible.
Oh
There's
yeah.
it is a cultural understanding. I mean, Cain and Abel. There's
Mhm.
the first story of competition. a parent's love, competing for a parent's love, right
Mm-hmm.
there. There is, and it's older than the Bible. So that was just a story relayed in the Bible of Cain and Abel. But I think the empiric colonial, like the colonization and the empire growth has been since the beginning of humankind. We've been, it comes from fear. It comes from lack. It comes from that place, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from that. And so we, as spiritually evolving people, can release that competitive nature and harmoniously act in a symbiotic oneness expression. A unspiritually evolving person, maybe, like, I don't even know how to say these words yet. It's been throughout the history of humankind, and that fear of I'm not going to eat today unless I beat out the other guy with the bigger cave bat,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's so there's competition has been something, but it was a survival thing, and we no longer need competitive nature to be in survival. But we also very much honor things like gladiators and football teams.
Yeah.
And until we stop fighting over whose team is better, there's going to be a competitive nature. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Martha, you are reading my mind.
Yeah.
Um,
That's right.
as I've mentioned a couple times in my classes, and I have to go back and verify that this is what was said, because it I feel like the source of this was something that Stephen Colbert said on the Emmy Awards a few weeks ago. But he said there are only two feelings that we're ever engaged in: love or fear. And
Mm-hmm.
everything else that we perceive as a feeling or an emotion will distill back down to love or fear.
Yes.
And how are you choosing to be in the world? If we are
Mm-hmm.
framing our experience of the world from the point of view of fear, then of course everything becomes a competition, because we have a sense that we will lose something.
Yeah.
That's the fear. We're going to lose something. We're going to lose our identity. We're going to lose, we're going to lose the property. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Some of my greatest losses have been my greatest teachers or movements or moments. We have to stop fearing loss, because, I mean, it's inevitable.
mhm,
It's inevitable.
mhm.
We are in flesh buckets. This is, we aren't immortal. We are infinite, but
Well,
we
I was going
aren't
to say,
immortal.
we're not, yeah, we're not immortal in that, this physical expression will cease to be at some point. That,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
are infinite. The
Yeah.
nature, the divine nature of us is infinite.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I know I'm 49. I just turned 49 2 months ago. Right. So I know everything I need to know now. Um,
I'm 52, and I'll say, good luck with that.
good luck with that. Yeah. I'm just so aware. I do now forget what I was going to say because I'm 49. That's where it ends. Right. Um, but I'm just so aware that, the things that I have been afraid of letting go, like I have said things like I'm loyal, um, have been loyal to a harmful way in my life. Like I've been
Mm,
so loyal to an idea, to a person, to a thing, that I am damaging or harming myself. And so letting I guess my work has been the last year, just the art of non-attachment. I'm not attached to this thing. I'm not attached to this idea. I'm not attached to this person. I'm experiencing these things, but to just let go of that unnecessary loyalty, especially, like, oh my God, people. The expectations and assumptions, just
Yeah.
let those go.
Well,
Be you.
isn't it Buddhism? I mean, Buddhism, one of the pillars of Buddhism is that all life is suffering. Well, suffering only exists because of attachment. And so a lot of what Buddhism is focused on is detachment, is really learning to let go of the things we attach ourselves to. I mean, if I believe I'm expressing that correctly. If there's someone out there who knows more about Buddhism than I do, please feel free to correct me, because I'm fine being corrected.
That's how we learn and grow.
It's how we learn and grow. What is so what is it, if I find myself constantly attaching myself to form, then I'm certain to be disappointed when the form changes in an unexpected way or doesn't change as I transform.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think about the form, let's face it, the form of spiritual community. I will not deny, and I think that there would be no one who would ever question me on this. I have a very, very different approach to the expression of ministry than my predecessors at Unity of Tucson had.
Yes.
Very different, like 180 degrees different. And, there are those who attached to the form and could not get behind my expression of ministry. And those are some of that 20% that left, right? Bless them. I bless them on their way.
Bless them.
Absolutely. Because it is not for me to try and, manipulate them into, here's the thing. It is not for me to try to manipulate them into liking me. It will never work. Cannot manipulate people into liking you. All we can do is be our authentic selves and trust and know that the right and perfect people show up in our lives.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you cannot manipulate someone into liking you.
right.
You're manipulating someone into liking an idea that is not you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And manipulation just doesn't. It's not good consciousness, you guys.
No, it's not.
It's just not. Don't try to manipulate situations or experience or people. Just don't.
Right.
Oh, we did it. It is almost up. Our hour is almost up.
This
we
was
did it.
Even though it's the same time frame, it's like one of the fastest rants that I've experienced. Does it feel like it just went by like that today?
It did feel like flight today for sure.
Yeah.
I love this word. I'm putting this word up.
Impermanence. Yeah.
Impermanence.
Yeah.
Impermanence.
But I also want to put this up because I love when you call us flesh buckets, Steph, and clearly that resonates.
It's fleshy.
Yeah.
It's holding in all my goo.
And what a miraculous thing that there's an energetic source that has invited all of this to come together in a cohesive expression.
It's amazing this can be containable.
Right?
It's amazing that light can be containable.
Yeah.
And it's right here. Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I love it. Yes. Well, I love you. I love everyone. I'm so grateful, you guys, for watching, to take time out of your day to be present with us and engage in this conversation with us. It's a blessing to Jonathan and I. And we're so grateful. We really love your comments, your questions. Of course, our emails are right here for you. And we love hearing from you. We wanna rant more. So give us things to rant about.
Yeah.
And we hope you have an amazing and wonderful week.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan, do you have anything coming up tonight, weekend?
Let's see. It's October 1st.
We've got 6 months.
We have a sound healing here at Unity of Tucson. If you're in Tucson, come here for our sound healing experience. It starts at 6:30. Come a few minutes early so that you can get your yoga mat laid out with your pillows and everything. It's led by Dee Brady, who's the manager of our youth and family ministries here, but she does wonderful sound healing work. So check that out. It's on a love offering basis. So we'd love to see you for that. I'm like, what else is coming up? Not much. I continue teaching class. Actually, the next class that I'm going to start a new class in October once the 12 Powers class is complete. I had thought about teaching affirmative prayer again, but I'm actually going to delay that to the beginning of 2026. And I think instead I'm going to teach the class on spiritual economics, using the book by Butterworth, which is one of my favorite books. So if that is of interest to you, the thing to know, all of my classes are hybrid. So we have people in the room and we have a significant number of people who are on Zoom at the same time. So awesome. You can be anywhere in the world and still participate in the classroom with us.
Absolutely.
How about you? What have you got going on?
This Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, we've got Contemplation Corner, where playful curiosity meets profound spiritual truths. We are this season going through Living the Science of Mind, like essays and things. So this on Saturday, we're going to be talking about how to create a spiritual chain reaction. So that's going to be this Saturday. It is love offering based. Link is on the website, oneloveawakening.com, all that good stuff. I'm excited. I'm working on a program right now. It's going to be a longer program, and it's called the Tao of Awakening Love. And so that is going to be starting in it. It's going to be like a January to June kind of experience where we dive into 12 principles of radically affirmative new thought and commingling the Tao Te Ching and science of mind and how to really embody it into our lives so that we can wake the frick up.
It sounds extraordinary.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. And great new things coming out for us for sure. So
love that.
Can't wait. It's exciting.
So watch this space. We'll be back next Wednesday. We plan on, right?
Yeah, we're on when we want to be on.
I was going to say we should acknowledge the fact that we were not on last week. And I'll tell you, we were both feeling under the weather. And we kind of, we met and we're like, yeah, we're not feeling it today. So we're on when we want to be on. But mostly we are here every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Central. So So awesome. I plan to see you next week.
Wonderful. Okay. And until we get to see you again, lots of love and all of that good stuff.
Indeed. Peace and blessings, y'all. Bye.
Peace.